I was just 7 years a kid when Russian attacked Afghanistan, and we moved from northern Afghanistan all over to Pakistani border in south. We went through a lot of problems. I still remember the bombing of Russians in our village, and father of my friend was killed by Russians. We were still really terrified. We crossed to Pakistan. I studied and grew up in a refugees camp. I started job as a journalist in 93 and 94 with the BBC. I studied in Pakistan. And then I saw the first collapse of Kabul in 92 when the Mujahideen take over. I still remember that day. Everyone was very happy because a communist regime was collapsed. But right after the collapse, we realized the collapse of Kabul is not a solution, and then there was a very bloody civil war. The Kabul, a beautiful city, my beautiful city, was destroyed in that war. Then Taliban took over in 96. I remember the Kabul was destroyed. The Taliban was very poor. The people was more poor than the Taliban regime, and then the Taliban regime harsh policies. Honestly, in Afghanistan, in the past Taliban regime, we only had the rights to breathe oxygen. The rest was taken by Taliban harsh policies. Then, because of the Taliban mistakes, prisons of Al-Qaeda, 9/11 happened, and then American and rest of the world toppled the Taliban regime, and we suddenly saw a new arise, a new era, a modern era. Suddenly, Afghanistan became a booming city. Educational institutes open, women, television, media, road, airports. Afghanistan like become a very, very nice country. One side there was fight with the Taliban, they were fighting with the Taliban. The other side there was a progress, there was a democracy, there was election, there was debates in the parliaments, and we used to go on television, criticize the government, the president, and suddenly I couldn't believe this thing will happen now. The Taliban is taking our back. So this was like a nightmare. You know, if we are going back to the 19th, 17th century or 18th century era, now everyone is very worried. I'm worried as a journalist, my family is worried, and every single Afghan worried about the Taliban behavior with the people, behavior with the international community. And since yesterday, I couldn't sleep. What's happening in Kabul? The people are terrified. We are getting calls. We are calling our friends and family and relative to ask how they are. So I have seen 4-time collapse of Kabul, but this time is the worst time because in last 20 years we promoted Afghanistan quite good. There was a really, really good freedom of speech. As a journalist, I really enjoy working in Afghanistan, and I proudly say in last 5-6 years there was no journalist in jail in Afghanistan, despite there was a Taliban brutal insurgency. I'm worried. I think we lost Afghanistan, and this time I don't know how to recover it. I still believe the Taliban, they don't have capacity, they don't have ability to run a system, and they don't trust anyone else. They want the whole cake in their hand. So I think I don't see really any future. I don't see really any better Afghanistan. We are leaving Afghanistan for Taliban, a modern Afghanistan. A rising building is in Afghanistan, road projects, but I don't know what the Taliban will do. with our future. And our future is now in the hand of the Taliban. End of the day, after 20 years, when I see book, look back, I feel like I lost everything in a gambling which I was not part of that gambling. Sad, very sad.